I'm just sitting in my closet. It's fine.
I see this. Is that your like ideal podcast recording studio?
No, I actually, when I was living back in Michigan, so at the beginning of the pandemic, I got laid off for my job.
Same.
So I decided to create myself a job, and
Same.
I actually built a sound attenuating booth in part of my parents' house and like started up a podcast. So
that's cool. How's it going? You having fun with it?
I do. I have a lot of fun with it, and I actually really like the weird facts and the research I come up with, and it's a lot of fun. So,
well, I'm excited to see what you have. I'm just trying to like angle. None of this is working. None of this is going the way that I wanted. There's so many buttons on this dang tripod, and I know. Oh my god, I'm already like. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I was so woefully underprepared, and now everything's breaking. Okay, wait. I think this is gonna have to be it. I just want to angle you down. Angle down. It's like frozen. Okay, well, this is what you get. You get this weird ass angle. Hi. Ask me some stuff.
Yeah, I will. Hello, friends. This episode is actually really exciting. It is the second episode with someone I have never met in person. This particular guest is full of fun facts and is really good at explaining them in terms that anyone can understand. So put on your thinking caps, grab your favorite beverage, and get ready to play along at home on Fun Facts with
Cavatica.
All right. So I do have a couple of interview questions for you before we get started, so my audience can get to know you better. The first question I have is, what makes you feel inspired?
What makes me feel inspired? Lots of things make me feel inspired. Asking questions, I guess, is maybe, or you know what, more specifically, other people asking questions. Curiosity. I love when people don't know things and they want to know the things, and they're hungry to understand their place in all of this, even if it's a really small question about why the world is the way it is. I love people watching in museums. I love teaching. I'm inspired by all of the things that we don't know.
Nice. That's a good answer. That's a very good answer. I really like that answer. Yeah, that's inspiring. What is your best tip for making the world a better place?
I'm trying to encapsulate this in a small way. Have some damn empathy, I guess. Think of others as their own internal worlds with their own problems and their own worries, and exert yourself as much as you can to take care of them the way that you would want to be taken care of. But don't leave yourself out of that equation. Everybody has value. Try to remember that everybody has value, even if you can't comprehend the choices that they make, or maybe if you haven't made the same mistakes that they have. Give what you can of yourself.
Nice. Oh, the next interview question I have is a weird question because I like throwing a couple of weird questions in.
Curveballs.
What is your favorite sound or noise?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
This is so cliche. Thunderstorms.
Okay, I mean, you know what? That's fine. Mine is actually, and this is going to disturb some people, nails on a chalkboard. I don't know why, but maybe it's just the little chaos goblin that lives in the center of my heart, but something about me just loves nails on a chalkboard.
You just triggered so many people just saying that.
Oh, I know.
Like so many people are going to be like, no, I can't even envision it. Do you know what else? You know what other sound that I really like is maybe a little bit more esoteric and specific is the sound that snow doesn't make. The way that snow mutes the world, but that absence of sound is still something.
Yeah.
So when you first step out in the morning after a heavy snow, the weight of that silence, mwah, chef's kiss.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, that is a great sound, or lack of sound, I guess.
Yeah. So either the cacophony of a thunderstorm, or it's a 1 or a 0.
And then where can you be found on social media and followed on social media? So plug yourself. I know you're on TikTok. And
yes, I am on TikTok as Cavatica, Cavatica. Here comes my dog with the Kong again. Thank you. I am on Instagram as Cavatica, and I'm on Twitter as Cavaticat, Cavaticat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And then what is one minor opinion, for example, that pickles taste gross, that no one agrees with you on?
Oh no. I don't know that I have any because all of my opinions are good and correct, but I'm trying to think of things that maybe like my fiance and I quibble about. Things that are, what is a minor opinion that I have that nobody agrees with? Now all I can think of is the pickles thing. I guess I will just give you the most incendiary one that I can think of. And it's not even that everybody else disagrees with, because I do know people who agree with me, but like in terms of majority to minority, like there's a pretty big schism. And I'm just thinking of it because of the bookshelf behind me. And I think I've even said this on my live. I know I've said this on my live because I get asked about it on my live a lot because of the way that the books are behind me. The Name of the Wind was not a good book.
I haven't read it yet.
Okay, that's fine. But a lot of some of your listeners just got angry hearing that. And I really for those listeners, let me say, I did try. I read it. I just didn't read. I can't go on after that. Fundamental to the premise of the book is that the protagonist / narrator is supposed to be the greatest storyteller of all time. And if that is going to be your device, then I need to read the greatest story of all time. And I didn't do that. I read a story about a bitch boy obsessed with a girl who didn't want him, who all he could try and think of was like ways to win her despite her objections. And lots of like really weird, uncomfortable, male gazy ways of describing women. And then it turns out that like the author, Pat Rothfuss, who I've met and like briefly we were Twitter mutuals, now we're not, he has like this really old problematic, gross actual like live journal entry describing the way that he used to think about girls when he was growing up. And it's really gross. And once you know that, you can't unknow it. And everybody just holds The Name of the Wind up as this paragon of fantasy goodness. And it ain't all that.
Nice.
And every once in a while I meet somebody else who has that same opinion and we like fist bump because it's not a popular opinion in fantasy. So there you go. That's my opinion.
So I'm just going to restate the rules really quickly for anyone who's maybe popping in new. So the rules of this show are, I have 3 categories of 3 facts, and your goal is to find the lie or the false fact. And each category you will have a hint, and there is 1 50-50 that you have to use per game. And the 3 categories I have for you are science for here, which is modern science on the planet Earth. Science to Go, which is science about space. And Science from There, which is weird inventions from history.
I love it. Okay. That's so clever. Okay.
Yeah, so which category do you want to start with?
I'd like to take Science to Go, please.
Absolutely.
Should I be doing this in my podcast voice? Thank you, Connor. I'm so glad to be here today. I'd love to have Science to Go.
All right, so the 3 facts I have for you in Science to Go are: 1, Jupiter has 79 known moons. 2, due to a little math and a lot of logic, you are comparatively older than the sun. And 3, Saturn has a near-perfect pentagon on its south pole.
The second one's the lie.
Is that your final answer?
Well, it was until you asked me that. I recall that Jupiter has, I want to say 79 known moons. I know that Saturn's got a pentagon on its south pole, but no, wait, did you say pentagon?
Yes.
No, the third one's the lie. The third one's a lie. It's a hexagon.
And that is correct. The
Yes!
third one is the lie. I would actually accept the second one as the lie because I actually had to sit down and do the math for it myself. I couldn't find it anywhere else.
Well,
but
I can't do math, so I don't.
I will
don't
explain
know. I would have
my-
just trusted you.
I will explain. It's not that hard of math.
Yeah.
It's literally basic addition and subtraction. Saturn has a near perfect hexagon, and it's on its north pole, not its south pole.
Oh.
And the hexagon is caused by 6 giant never-ending storms on each side, which feed each other and somehow cause that perfect shape.
Make it wonky, yeah.
Which I think is absolutely amazing. And then I'm going to explain this one here. So it goes like this. To judge a year, we have to determine what a year is. And a year on Earth takes its time, is how we calculate that is its time around the central point of our solar system, the sun.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about a sidereal year versus actual year. Yeah.
So a solarian year would be the amount of time it takes our sun's soul to go around its central point, which is the center of the galaxy.
Right.
And because of that, one solarian year is equal to 200
million years.
Yeah, 200 million years roughly. And I did some math to calculate the average between the 2 points that they have figured in science, and came up with 237.5 million years. And then we know that the sun is roughly 4.603 billion years old. So if you do a bit of math, you can calculate that the sun in its own years is only about 19 years old, and it will turn 20 next year, which is
sun's
in
not
about
even old enough to drink.
Yeah, it turns next year in sun years, which is in about 148 million years, it will turn 20.
Oh, so, sneaky.
So due to math and logic, you are older than the sun.
I bet I could quibble with this, but I'm sure some of your listeners are about to push their glasses up their faces so far that it just like smashes into their brains. But I'm not a mathematician, so I'm gonna let that one go.
Oh, I mean, it's definitely dubious, which is why I would have accepted it had you said that was your final answer.
Right,
because
but the third one is clearly the lie. Like,
the third
that's
one
the
was
obvious
the one
lie.
The
second one is like a squishy gray area of bullshit.
Yeah. And then Jupiter has 79 known moons. And the largest, Ganymede, can actually be seen with just binoculars.
You can see, as far as I know, you can see all 4 Galilean moons with binoculars. Have you ever looked?
I have not, but I have looked, but it was with a telescope. I haven't had the opportunity to see it with binoculars yet.
Yeah, you can definitely see Ganymede. I think you can see all 4 with binoculars, but
you probably can, because the telescopes that Galileo would have had
were not great. No. Yeah, and they look really cool too.
Oh yeah.
They're so shiny.
I loved being able to see Saturn for the first time. That was my like major moment. I actually used to teach astronomy for the Boy Scout camp that was nearby where I lived. And I was trained to teach astronomy for them by one of like 4 people who were qualified to teach it in the state of Michigan. And it was so fun. I really loved doing it. It was great.
I love it. And the first time you show Saturn to somebody else through a telescope, and they're just like, what? Yeah.
Oh, it looks so pretty.
So pretty.
All right. So which category do you want to go to next? Science for here or science from then?
I'd like science for here, please.
Absolutely. All right. So the 3 facts I have in this category are: during the summer, the Eiffel Tower can be up to 1 foot taller than it is in the winter. 2, the common cat flea, when jumping, accelerates 50 times faster than the space shuttle. And 3, all humans in the world can fit into a sugar cube.
Give me a hint. The first one sounds true. The first one sounds true only just because of the way I assume metal expands and contracts from winter to summer, but that could be fallacious. But give me a hint.
The hint is one of these things is not like the other. So the subjects of these things are the Eiffel Tower, common cat flea, and humans.
Okay, then I'm going to go with the cat flea. Because you're talking about, when you say all humans could fit into a sugar cube, I assume you mean all of the relative constituent matter of humans super, super compressed into a sugar cube. I mean, it would be a very heavy sugar cube. It would be super fucking dense. I don't know if I can curse on your show, but
absolutely.
Okay. And you said the common cat flea can accelerate faster than the space shuttle?
Yep.
But there is no more space shuttle. Womp womp. Okay, 50-50 me.
So the cat flea is correct. It can actually accelerate. The word is accelerate faster than the space shuttle. It's not that it moves at a rate faster than the space shuttle. It just accelerates faster.
Okay.
And in fact, it accelerates so hard that if it didn't have its exoskeleton, it would actually squish and die.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah.
It's good to be a flea.
We need to breed exoskeletonless fleas. And then we'll fix that problem.
Okay, wise. So then that leaves me the Eiffel Tower and the cube thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, based on the way that you're smirking, you're very pleased with yourself that you think that I'm about to select the Eiffel Tower is true. So I'm going to say the Eiffel Tower is false because your poker face is garbage.
I mean, my poker face is always garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is correct.
You wish we'd gone audio only now.
Darn you. During the summer, the Eiffel Tower can be up to 15 centimeters larger, not a full foot.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
A foot did seem like a lot.
Yeah, but it is due to thermal expansion because metal gets hotter, or as it gets hotter, it gets a little bit bigger.
Right.
Yeah. And then,
so my logic was sound, but my distances were bad.
It's fine.
That's how they get you.
And then, all the humans in the world could fit into a sugar cube. It's only mathematically true. And it's only mathematically true if you were to remove all of the empty space from all of the atoms in every human body without them reacting in any way. So without them losing any neutrons to the electron shift. Then all of those atoms compressed together, the resulting cube would be about the size of a standard sugar cube, or about 0.216 inches.
You're really Obi-Wan Kenobi-ing a lot of these questions with like, so you see what I said was true from a certain point of view. And I'm over here Luke Skywalkering like, from a certain point of view.
I actually just pulled that directly from the website that I did the research for it on. And it was like, mathematically it's true, but if you actually tried to do it, it would, you know, A, kill everyone on the planet.
We'd all
and B,
explode.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm 2 for 3, so I'm feeling good.
Yeah, so the last one here is weird inventions from history. And so this category works a little bit different.
Okay.
I'm going to list 3 inventions and give you the name, year of the invention, and a little bit about its design and use. And you have to determine which one I just made up out of my mind.
Okay.
Number 1, the massage helmet. It was designed in 1960. And was...
Sounds like a very 1960 thing. Go on.
It was a portable briefcase that had a hose attached and a helmet, and it massaged the head using forced air. 2, the turning spaghetti fork. I couldn't find an exact date for the invention of this one, but it was between 1890 and 1930. This invention was a fork on an axle that rotated by a hand crank for a set of gears. Like, have you seen the old automatic whisks? That's what it looked like. Yeah. There is actually a modern version available for purchase on Amazon that is battery powered and intended for eating better spaghetti.
I think you just described an old school vibrator, but go on.
3 is conjoined dance pants. This was a pant invented in 1982.
That's what I would have said.
2 full sets of pants that were sewn together to form one pant so that the partners could dance together in perfect rhythm.
No, you know what? That's the fake one. That's got to be the fake one because that is too perfect. That's too 80s. That sounds like something that somebody who didn't live through the 80s but heard about the 80s would describe as an invention of the 80s. And if that is, in fact, a product of the 80s, we have to go back and stop the 80s because that's the sugar cube thing, but the 80s. That's all the 80s in one conjoined pant. That can't be allowed to have existed. It's a cliche. I won't have it. We have to go back, Marty.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, the conjoined pants thing.
That is correct. That is the one I made up out of my head. However, in the 20s, there was a pair of shoes that had been conjoined that were meant for better dancing with your partner. And in the 80s, they invented a pair of underwear that on the one side of the underwear, it was like male pattern prints, and on the other side, it was female, but it was just the butts with 4 sets of legs, and they were sex underwear.
No, of course they were.
Yeah. Yep. But the other 2 inventions are completely true, and they absolutely exist.
Oh my God. The helmet thing I absolutely bought right away because in the 50s they tried the late 50s, early 60s, they tried all kinds of unnecessary shit. Like
absolutely insane.
And they had ridiculous names like the massage helmet that they delivered with a completely straight face. So I was like, oh yeah. That's borderline almost to 1960. But yeah. That was great. Oh my God.
So what'd you think of the facts I brought you?
They're good facts. You stumped me a couple of times. You would have had me on the second one if your poker face didn't suck. But that was really fun. That was good.
Good.
I am pleased. I feel educated, but disturbed, but amused, but confused.
I mean, that's how I feel when I'm watching some of your videos sometimes. I mean,
thanks.
Pretty much the video that made me follow you was the Bellamoth video.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and watching some of your science videos, I am disturbed and confused and also elated, and it's great, and I really enjoy it. And
I'm just trying to reproduce the sensation of existing as a sack of electrified wet meat, because it's a very strange and confusing way to be. And like, there are just so many ways of moving through the world. Like, even if you're not talking about all the weird ways that animals do it, like just being alive, existing is a very strange experience. And it's nice to remind people of that fact every once in a while. And then having that added layer of like bursting out of the shower, that always really confuses people too. I think people think I live in there, so that's fine.
So I know you did half of one of your last lives about just the book collection that you're sitting in front of now.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a specific book recommendation for any of my listeners?
Yeah, though it's not like a new book recommendation. I've recommended this a million times, and lots of other people have recommended this. But for me, like, this exemplifies the direction speculative fiction should be taking right now and is taking right now. And I mean, that's got to be The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. That it's a trilogy, the Broken Earth trilogy. She's a woman of color. She won the Hugo Award for, I think it was Best Writer 3 years in a row, and became the first person ever to do that. And rightly so, because this is some of the finest writing and storytelling, social commentary, world building, all in one delicious, three delicious, heartbreaking, harrowing, poetic, beautiful little nuggets of story that you could want. So if you haven't read The Fifth Season, do so, and then proceed to the next two books immediately. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. It's really quite something.
And then I actually have a book recommendation for you.
Okay.
It's called The Night of the Bookman. It's written by Peyton Douglas. It is, I think the way the author described it was Jewish Gidget fighting monsters at the beach party.
Okay.
But there's more to it than that. It goes into like Korean War vet PTSD and World War II and how that affects like the entire generation of Jewish immigrants that came over from Germany after that time. And it's like, it's really deep and hearty, but also it's got these like 60s beach party vibes, and then like these horror movie monster gotta go save the day vibes. It's this strange and absurd mix of a book, but it's like so heartfelt and so there, and I really enjoy it. And I'm listening to the audiobook, and the only reason that I actually ended up with the audiobook is because a friend of mine who I've known for years, she contacted the author after reading the book and was like, "Can I read your audiobook?" And he was like, "I didn't think of an audiobook, but sure." So now there's
you think of an audiobook?
Right. I mean, now there's an audiobook version, and it's phenomenal. And I'm not just saying that because my friend recorded it. I'm saying that because I actually like enjoy it, and I enjoy the storyline, and it's great. And now the author has several people hounding him for a sequel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's a really good recommendation.
Yeah.
And that's not really like a genre that I read a lot of. So, or a subgenre I read a lot of. It's very niche.
Oh yeah, and
I would not have found that on my own.
It's not incredibly like, I mean, when the monsters are there, you definitely like feel just like that little bit of like hair-raisingness that you get, but I would describe it more action-y based rather than horror based. But it's still,
which is good, because like I don't do a lot of horror. I'm easily frightened.
It's got, I don't do a lot of horror either. I mean, I'll watch like old black and white horror movies, like old, like I love some good Lon Chaney silent film horror movies just because
Okay.
they're so bad.
Right.
By today's standards. But yeah, no, and it's really good. I really enjoy it.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
This was really fun. I'm honored to have been thought of and approached. Thank you.
Yeah,
This was
absolutely.
really cool.
And because you got at least 2 of them right, you're allowed to
Oh yeah,
come
what do
back.
I win?
You win the ability to bring your own facts on to the next time you want to come on and exact your revenge.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll get you. Not that I have to exact revenge because you didn't pwn me.
Oh yeah,
I remain unpwned, undefeated.
Thank you for being on the show and
Thank you.
And we'll definitely have to have you back sometime.
Yes, please. I will come and destroy you.
Oh, I certainly hope so.
KO. Finish him. That's what I will do. All right, go to your party.
Have a nice night.
You too. Bye.
Bye. This show is recorded, produced, directed, and edited by Connor J. Cassidy, with music by Sounds Like Sanders. Our podcast is hosted on podserve.fm, and our music was found via soundstripe.com. Please follow us on all social media at FunFactsWith, and if you like the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, have a nice day.